Cancer anxiety nearly took over my life until I quit social media. Hey, Dr. Amy here, and as an 8-year cancer survivor, I know firsthand how overwhelming it feels when your life is filled with fear and anxiety from cancer. Social media is filled with misinformation and horror stories. In this video, I'm sharing with you exactly how quitting social media helped me break that anxiety cycle. Plus, exactly what I do to stay informed and stay grounded. So whether you're newly diagnosed, in treatment, or even years out from your cancer diagnosis, this video is for you. The constant online fear around cancer can keep you in fight or flight. There is a much better way to protect your mental health and feel safe again. Starting with number 1, I left cancer support groups, both in person and online, and you might want to do the same. Now, this might upset some people, but I'm sharing the truth. After my own stage 3 cancer diagnosis, I did what most cancer survivors are encouraged to do. I looked for a support group. I felt desperate to connect. I wanted to find people who understood exactly what I was going through. Even my oncology team encouraged me to do this. But what happened inside of those support groups made my experience so much harder. Here is exactly why. Support groups made me feel more alone, not less alone. I walked into my first in-person support group at the cancer center with a lot of hope, but almost immediately, I felt out of place. I was the youngest person there by decades. Everyone was kind and welcoming, doing the best they could, but nobody looked like me. Their lives were nothing like mine. They were talking about their grandchildren. I hadn't even started my family. I had just gotten married, and I worried I might never be able to have children. I might never even be able to survive long enough to try. Their stories were valid, but so was mine. We were navigating 2 completely different experiences under the same name: cancer. The room didn't feel like support. It felt like isolation. So I turned to online support groups, and that was even worse. Since I didn't connect with the in-person support groups, I figured I'd find my people online. I joined ovarian cancer support groups because that's what I was diagnosed with. I was hoping to find inspiration and hope, but every time I logged in or scrolled my social media, my anxiety skyrocketed. Recurrence, stage 4 diagnosis, failed treatment, heartbreaking side effects. It was the worst case scenario, and I had a front row seat on my phone screen, day after day, post after post. And this isn't just my experience. I hear this from cancer survivors and thrivers who turn to online support groups like this, looking for hope, and all they find is fear. Plus, the mindset within these support groups had me feeling trapped. Now, this isn't a criticism of anyone facing a severe diagnosis or a stage 4 diagnosis. I've had the privilege and the honor of working with so many stage 4 thrivers inside the Cancer Freedom Program. They are some of my favorite patients to work with. But there's a noticeable difference between people who feel helpless and those who are determined to take back control. Inside these groups, there was so much blame and despair, feeling like a victim. And that mindset really matters. It shapes how you feel, how you heal, what you believe is truly possible. I need a community that matched my energy. People who wanted to move forward, regardless of cancer, not people who wanted to sit and be stuck. And then I was attacked for sharing my story. When I shared my diagnosis and my treatment, I thought I'd be met with understanding. But because my story didn't follow the typical path of many cancer survivors, I was accused of lying about my diagnosis. At the age of 30, newly married, and wanting to have kids, I did not have a hysterectomy after my diagnosis. My oncologist and I made a treatment decision together to leave one ovary in place and let the chemo do the work. This would hopefully preserve my fertility moving forward. It wasn't reckless. It was based on medical guidelines specific to my cancer diagnosis. But when I shared this decision inside these online support groups, it triggered some members very deeply. Some accused me of not actually having a cancer diagnosis. Others said I was spreading false information. They believed everyone that has ovarian cancer must have a hysterectomy. That's simply not true. Plus, the backlash kept coming even after my daughter was born. After Madeline was born, I shared a photo of me and her naturally. Nothing about medical history or how she was conceived, but one member reached out to me specifically. She said I had no right to post about my child inside that online support group when so many other women aren't able to have their own children. There are so many women out there that are deeply grieving the loss of their own fertility that they lash out on others who are just trying to share hope. And that's when I decided to stop sharing the full and complete story of my cancer diagnosis publicly. I now don't speak about exactly how my children were conceived or if they carry genetic mutations. I don't go into these specifics anymore because my children are too young to be making those decisions about whether they want that information shared or not. Now, it's not hiding anything, but these stories, they're personal. They belong to me and to my family. And you get to choose what you want to share too. All of it, none of it, or just the parts that you feel safe sharing. That's the boundary that you get to set for yourself. So I quietly left these support groups. But even after setting those boundaries and limiting the information that I specifically was going to share, the attacks kept coming. Some ovarian cancer survivors said I was selfish for keeping this information personal. That because I wasn't sharing the details of my diagnosis and my treatment, that I was not doing my part to support the community, that others could learn from me if I shared all of it. And that's true. But at the end of the day, all of us as cancer survivors need to set our own boundaries and feel safe and good about those boundaries. So I started choosing the exact kind of support I wanted to receive, and that changed everything. Instead of wide open online support groups, I was strategic about the women that I surrounded myself with. I started surrounding myself with women that were aligned with me and where I wanted to go. Not necessarily with the same diagnosis, but the same mindset. Women who want to feel better. Women who are committed to putting in the time and the effort. They're committed to the strategy around finding the healthiest version of themselves. That's the kind of energy that I want to be around. It's okay if someone doesn't align with your goals. It's okay to part ways gently. You've probably heard the quote, "You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." The same is true for cancer. Be intentional about who you let into your inner circle. Your energy, your healing, your peace. Those are all sacred. You do not have to stay in an online support group that makes you feel worse. Instead, take small actions today that help you protect your peace. That could be muting a group or unfollowing a page, or it could be stepping away entirely. So if you're ready to surround yourself with cancer survivors and thrivers who are ready to take back control of their life, well, then you need to start by watching this next video here. Click the link here and I'll see you in the next video.